Hello. My name is SHEAHDUMB 17, and I am here. We are here. We are one. I don't know. I'm going to be talking about something that a lot of people know. If you have had YouTube for like years, you know this character. If you don't know this character, you're either too young or you have heard of this character, but you've never watched anything of his. That's Fred. Now, Fred was a big character on YouTube. So Fred was first, created by this guy named Lucas Kerstink. I can't say his last name. Kershink, I think. And he has a channel. Yes, he has a new channel. It's called Lucas, and he does like TikTok and OnlyFans and just like all types of stuff. But he's really funny, and like he's so. If you get annoyed when you listen to Fred, you won't get annoyed watching his videos. Like, he's definitely different from the Fred character. But it's really fun. I really enjoy it. So check out his channel. I mean, I know his channel is like completely bigger than mine, but he's funny. He's amazing. That's that on that. Check it out. He made Fred on YouTube, just being weird. I've seen a couple of Fred's, Lucas's channel when he was doing Fred. So how I found out about Fred was, well, everyone was really talking about it at the time, like, because Fred was such a big character and so big on YouTube that it was just like, I heard about it, but I didn't get YouTube until like 2012. But I've always heard about Fred when I was like really little. And I fell in love. Even though he was super annoying and he yelled a lot, he was funny. I remember watching Fred, and I would watch Fred all the time, especially the movies. And my dad to this day despises Fred with a passion, because of how much I watched it. Like, I watched it so much, and I would make him like watch it with me. He was like, it's so funny, and he would be like, no, because all the guy would do was like scream. He would scream so much. Fred was huge. It first started on YouTube, and then eventually, I'm pretty sure that Nickelodeon picked the Fred character up, and he was on iCarly, and then I don't know if that was the beginning or like before then, but then he started having 3 movies. He had 3 movies. I only watched the first Fred movie and the second one. I haven't watched the 3rd movie, but I know it's about camp. But I haven't watched the 3rd movie. I kind of want to, just to see like my reaction of, you know how I feel about it now, being an 18-year-old. Maybe next video. Maybe I can watch the 3rd movie, see my reaction. Fred. This is what I want to say. The Fred movies are masterpieces. Let me explain. Okay, a lot of people then and now associate Fred as being annoying, which I understand, because the Fred character only screams. Like, this is what he does. He screams. He says "gamut," like when something goes wrong. He has all these weird stuff like that he does. The Fred character is a lot. But when you really look, especially at the movies, come on. I haven't watched the 3rd movie, so I don't know about the 3rd movie. But the 1st and 2nd are masterpieces. You cannot tell me. Especially the 2nd one. That's just a whole, like, the production went up. It was great. Fred is that character that no one else can be. There will never be another Fred. You can't reenact Fred. The first movie. We're introduced to Fred, and I like the way they did it because he's talking to the audience. It's not like because on the YouTube part, when he was on YouTube at the time doing the Fred character, he was talking to the camera. So I was like, okay, maybe they might do it different, and we're just gonna see him live, a regular movie where there's some times where people talk to the audience, but not a lot of movies that do that. So I was kind of worried about they're not going to do that, and they're kind of change Fred in some way, but they kept that connection with the audience, so that was great. They did that, and Fred is talking to the audience, so we see his perspective on a lot of things. And on the first movie, he has a crush on this girl named Judy, and he's trying to get her attention. And it's interesting how they got all his wacky personality in like an hour of a movie, And normal people would see like maybe 3 minutes of the movie and be done with it. But me, I watched all of it. And I watched it even more. Like, to this day, I still want to watch it. This is the thing. I tried to search it up to see if the Fred movies, the first and the second movie, was like on Netflix or Hulu, Disney Channel. I don't know why I picked Disney Plus. I forgot it was on Nickelodeon. But yeah, I looked everywhere and it wasn't there, and I was sad. I like it because there's reality and then there's Fred's mind. His mind sees everything in a different perspective. Like, he thinks he's this wonderful singer and that Judy and him are meant to be together. And, in the second movie, that his music teacher is like a vampire, and like he's imagining so much. I'm not sure if this is in his imagination or if it's true, but John Cena as his dad is the funniest thing ever. You can't tell me that John Cena wasn't funny in the Fred movies. Like, he was hilarious. Every time you see John Cena, first of all, every time he would give Fred advice, he would always just grab him and then just smash him on any type of furniture. And I thought that was funny. I still think it's funny, but when I was younger, I would laugh so hard because, like, who does that? Like, who gives someone advice and then gets them and then, like, slams them on furniture? They knew back then how absurd Fred was. They understood that it's this character who screams a lot, who is in his own imaginary world, who is kind of, going through something, and they knew how to put it in an hour movie, a movie. Yeah, a movie that was like an hour and some minutes. I feel like all the Fred movies, I don't know about the third one, I think the third one too, there's a plot, but it's really nonsense. Like, there's nothing, you don't watch a Fred movie and it's like, oh, I'm about to learn something. You watch it to laugh. And people watch this movie and think it's going to be like this very educational, or just like, they treat it as it's supposed to be this very important. It's a guy.
I noticed at a young age that a
like
lot
in
of
his
people
own world,
like the movie,
and
which
he's
I
just trying to
understand.
go through high school. Not
But
everything
a lot of
has to
treating
be
it like
so
it was like,
serious, and people
like
just
an
get like
acclaimed movie that
got mad
like
that
they had a lot of
kids
expectations
like Fred
for this movie,
and like me,
which I didn't understand
when I was younger. And it's like, I get it. I get how some people are like, how did this character get so big? But you shouldn't. It's kind of obvious. It was funny. There's funny parts. The YouTube channel I watched a couple of them like years later because um, Fred came out like 12 years ago. I'll do the math later, but I started watching like YouTube in 2012. So, and most of the things that I was watching were like, what's it called? Like beauty, life hacks and all that. That was mainly what I watched, and then some like comedy stuff. But eventually I got to watch some Fred videos, and they were funny. But the movies, I love the movies. I just want to tell you some quotes that were in there. He said, "You look like Robert Patterson, 'cause you're stupid." That is the most like, what? Like Fred tries to make insults. The way he tries to insult people, and then he just says the most like non-insulting thing ever is the funny. It's so funny to me. Like he thinks he really did something. Like, and then you're just gonna insult Robert Patterson like that? Like, wow. And okay, I don't know if I got this from Fred, but in sometimes like in the movies, he would just sing out of nowhere. And I connected with that because I do that too, but like he has so much confidence with it. Like he just does it. And I kind of just like, I'm just gonna to the side, just like kind of singing to myself. But he doesn't care. He'll just sing whatever, and he's not good. But like he thinks he's good. In his mind, he thinks he's like this. Like he can sing, he can play the piano. Like he thinks he can do so much, but in reality, it's the opposite. Like he's kind of the annoying kid, but like he's being bullied. So like we don't root for Kevin. Kevin ain't it. But like him and Kevin have like this rivalry, and it's funny because the faces that they both give to each other in the movies, hilarious. Like they're just like they're trying to be serious, but like it's weird. Fred will always be something that I will look back on and be like, yes, this is why I'm like this. Like, I just really connected with it. But I understand why people didn't, you know? It's just so stupid, like, I'm gonna be honest. When you watch the Fred movies, or even the YouTube channel, like, there's nothing, it's funny, but it's also, it's like, it's humor for kids. So in the second movie, it's this girl named Talia, and we find out that that's Kevin's sister, and he freaks out because he goes to their party because Kevin's mom invites Fred and Fred's mom to the party. So he finds out that the girl that he thought was a ghost, Talia, is his sister. So he runs, he like screams on the top of his lungs, and it's like, ah! And he hits the screen door or glass door. I would say glass door. And he like finally opens it and runs to his house. And then he starts singing, and like, she's Fred's sister, like that. And it was like, but it was worse. And I was just sitting there like, okay. This is the thing. So Fred and Kevin are in the same class. Kevin went up there, and I think he sung or like played the piano. I can't remember. But he did something, and Mr. Devlin was like, "Oh my gosh, really good!" And he gave him a clap. Congratulations. And then Fred went up there, and he wanted to play the piano, but before he played the piano, he bowed because his imagination, it's Fred, he's like on this side, and Kevin on this side, and they switch sides so they can go to these like two pianos, and they're playing the piano, and Fred is doing this, and then Kevin is just like, just being weird with the piano, and then the piano like gets destroyed on, Kevin's piano. And so then the teacher's like, you know, you're supposed to bow after you play the piano. And Fred, you know, he's just like, well, we do it different over here. And then he sits down and plays the piano, and it's bad. Like, he kind of got a few chords. I was like, okay. But, you know, it was bad. This whole situation with Fred shows how easy it was for things to blow up. Doing weird stuff like he was swimming in a really, like, in a kiddie pool, and he was talking about his mom. And, like, how he has this crush on Judy. And he would talk about Kevin, too, in the YouTube channel. And then they added John Cena, which I think is, like, such a perfect. Every clip that I've seen makes me laugh because of how outlandish it is. Especially the production in the second movie. They really brought it. Because there's, like, a scene where Fred and John Cena are, like, in a WWE ring, and, like, they're going down there, and Fred's just, like, looking around. He's like, what's going on? John Cena brings him into the ring, and then they're in this wrestling ring, and they're talking, and then you see Kevin and Devlin, and they're the vampires, so they're fighting vampires in a wrestling match. What? Like, who thinks of like this? In the first movie, it was definitely what's it called? A lower production. So Fred didn't get invited to Judy's birthday party. And he got very upset about this. So he made flyers, first of all. He made flyers and went up to people and was like, you're not invited to my party. You're not invited to my party. Like, just not inviting people. So then he was like, he kind of looked at himself like, okay, what do I do now? So him and his friend Bertha got together and they made their own party, but just them two. And they were just like recording themselves having a party and like dressing up, and they angled it in a certain way so you see people's feet, but it's just them two. That's kind of genius. It made it dark and dim so you don't notice which one is which. That's smart. Would I do that? No. That's a lot of effort to show people what they're missing. Like, that's a lot of effort. But Fred was like, I'm about to show them. And he did. And he posted everywhere. And everyone was freaking out. And they're like, ah. Like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go to your party, blah, blah, blah. After, you know, he posted it. And then Judy, like, shows up with these, like, heels and, like, a dress. And, like, she's like, I want to, you know, talk to you, Fred. Could I come in? And, like, he has no chill. And he closes the door on her. And he screams. And then he opens the door and then he invites her in. Like, so, yes, Fred is a masterpiece. Fred will always be a masterpiece. So Lucas also on his channel talks about his experience with Nickelodeon, and he talks about his experience with Fred, being the Fred character. When I was watching it, like, you know, when I was younger, and I was very, you know, not involved, maybe involved with the character, or I don't know. But when I was watching it a lot, I noticed that he screamed a lot. And I was like, how can someone, like, scream that loud? Like, ooh, like, your voice has to just, like, your voice. And in the recent videos I've seen, he talked about, like, he was doing Fred for hours, and his voice was, like, it was hard on him because he had to scream all the time. And screaming, like, he would scream high. Like, it would be like, ah, it would be like, ah, you know? And that's a lot on someone's voice. Fred is a time in history. It is a masterpiece. I'm just happy I got to see the movies, because the movies are amazing. And if you say they're not, then I don't trust you. I don't. I'm sorry. Ooh. That's it on Fred. I hope that you guys enjoy your day and your life and your time and your being. Yeah. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoy. Okay. Bye.
we are shameless.